What's good, y'all? Welcome to my spoiler discussion for The Rise of Skywalker. No, I'm a little late on this. Been a couple weeks since the movie came out. Been busy doing some other stuff, so I haven't really gotten a chance to get to just sit down and shoot the shit when it comes to Star Wars. But hey, finally here, so let's just jump right in. So, of course, guys, this video will contain major spoilers for The Rise of Skywalker. So, you guys have not seen The Rise of Skywalker, do not watch this. And if you guys want to know what my spoiler-free thoughts are, I'll leave my review up in the iCards above. Completely spoiler-free, as I said in my review. Let's talk about all my spoiler thoughts on this movie here. So, before we really start to divulge on this film about some of the other stuff in the movie, I gotta talk about Reylo. Yeah, Reylo. So, okay, now you guys know my thoughts on the ship of Reylo. You guys know I don't like it. I think it makes absolutely zero fucking sense. And honestly, I consider those people fucking idiots. Because, you know, where in the movies at all do you ever really think that they had a thing for each other? You know, you guys know me. When I ship characters, I actually use logic. Which apparently I am one of the few who use logic when it comes to shipping. But I digress. So, around the end of the movie, after, you know, we got the whole stuff with the Emperor and Rey and all that shit. Of course, we had this epic final battle between the Knights of Ren and Kylo Ren, or I guess I should start calling him Ben, you know, but I'm going to call him Kylo, because Kylo Ren sounds way cooler than Ben Solo. Just saying. So he calls up Kylo. So Kylo comes in there, you know, he's fighting against the Knights of Ren. Rey has to face off against the Emperor. And so, when we get there, after Rey puts her hand behind her back, which from their connection with the Force, which, by the way, I still don't understand what the connection is between Rey and Kylo is with their connection to the Force, where they can almost like telepathically speak to each other, which now it looks like apparently this is like now if I remember correctly in the movie or in it was either in this movie or in The Last Jedi, they mentioned how this is like a very rare ability of people like being this connected to the Force like this when they could telepathically speak to each other. And I even as soon as I saw this in The Last Jedi, I mentioned this to one of my teachers who's a big Star Wars fan. I was like, if Jedis or Force sensitive people could like telepathically speak to each other, how can they? Why were the Jedi wasting their time with holograms back in the prequels? You know. But anyway, as I was saying, so they have their like telepathic link, which I still don't understand really how the full ability works and how exactly it's worked. Like, how can these two like have a legit full-on lightsaber battle with each other when they're not even in the same place, like we saw like around the beginning of the film? But anyway, so Rey puts her hand behind her back and gives gives Kylo Anakin's lightsaber, or her lightsaber, at least it was at the time, the repaired Anakin lightsaber. You know, she hands it to him. He goes face out against the Knights of Ren. Epic fight, you know, and Rey uses, I believe, Princess Leia's lightsaber, and she uses that against Palpatine. So after all that, they finally meet up. They defeat the Emperor, you know, after Kylo gets thrown off a cliff, but somehow he manages to survive, and I was like, no! Then Kylo comes out, of course, they embrace each other for a moment, and then their faces they get like close to each other, their faces are like mere inches from each other, and I am praying to God, this is legit me in the theater. This is legit a reenactment of me in the theater. Don't you do it. Don't you fucking do it, JJ. Don't you fucking do it! Don't you do it! Don't you fucking pander to these fucking idiots, JJ! Don't you do it! They kiss. God damn it! You know, now I also didn't scream, and I legit also threw my hat down as well. Yes, your boy was in the theater, got so pissed off, he legit took my PlayStation hat that I'm currently wearing right now and threw it to the ground. Well, actually, it landed on my lap in the theater, and I didn't scream out goddamn. I was like, God damn it! I said it more in a lower scream, like a whisper scream, as low as I can, but still pissed off, because I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense. I'm sure I'm not the only person that thinks this way. And now, because didn't anyone else think this kiss felt like completely out of left? Like what happened between Finn and Rose back in The Last Jedi? That was just forced. Like, it just came out of nowhere. It felt forced, and it just never worked. That whole relationship, I don't know if Rian Johnson was trying to start something up and hoping that we might see something in the episode 9. Thank God that shit got dropped quicker than, I don't know, Baby Yoda when he uses a force. You know, it got dropped quicker than that. But anyway, yeah, that felt forced. This just felt very unnatural, I guess. Like, it just felt very out loud left field. Like, I felt like this was just thrown out there last second, like probably on the day of shooting the scene. Last second, JJ's like, oh fuck it, let's have them kiss, because to appease the Reylo shippers. Even though Rey and Finn makes far more logical sense when you actually pay attention to the films. And I'm pissed off that they cucked my man Finn. I'm pissed off they actually did. Now, I am not some hardcore Kylo Finn fan. Now, I know you guys might wonder, Leonard, we legit, is this whole sports just to be you about bitching about Reylo? No, because we're already 5 minutes in, this is all I'm talking about. No, I'm not. Don't worry, I'll get to the other stuff in a minute, but I gotta talk about this shit. This shit was some fucking bullshit. But, so, because, like, if you actually watch, especially when I rewatched The Force Awakens, like, a couple days ago, or like last week ago while I was binging through all Star Wars movies, especially when I rewatched that one, I'm like, Finn so obviously had a thing for Rey. It was so odd. Now, I even told my mom, my parents about this, like, I was pissed off that they cucked Finn, and my mom looked at me like I was crazy, like, Finn? Like, I don't know now, don't worry, my mom ain't one of those idiots that ships him with Poe. Don't worry, she don't ship, and if she does, she ain't an idiot about it. But, like, I was like, am I the only one that thought that made logical sense? Finn and Rey, because there was actually still there, especially if you rewatch Force Awakens, you could tell that there was a bit of connection there. That if they got together, it would make logical sense within the context of the story. I am sure I am not the only one that thinks that way. So, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. But then, I don't know if JJ did this purposely to piss them off, or I don't know really what the reason was. Maybe he knew this made no sense, so that's why he did it, just to spite the Reylo fans, to give them what they want, but then instantly take it away. Because right after that, Rey pretty much gave Kylo the kiss of death. Because after they kiss, man falls dead. And I just started laughing my ass off. I was like, yeah! I was celebrating that was about when Rey and Kylo kiss for the first time. People were, in my theater anyway, people were legit cheering. Yes, I was like, why are you idiots cheering? Like, this made no fucking sense. This was like some bullshit right here, ladies and gentlemen, between Rey and Finn. It made no damn sense, man. It made no damn sense. Between Rey and Kylo. It made no damn sense. So, I don't know if Finn or JJ purposely did this, did it on purpose, purposely, killed Kylo afterwards, just to spite the Reylo shippers, or to make sure it's not really canon, because I was like, my biggest fear with this movie was that Reylo was going to be canon, and after watching it, technically wasn't, because none of them ever said they loved each other, and they literally just kiss, and then Kylo falls dead. So, yeah, so there is still a chance that, as my man John Boyega said, it only matters who drops the pipe. But I gotta praise John Boyega. My man is a fucking lit. Like, this man legit came out on Twitter or Instagram. He said, "Whoever, it's only matters who drops the pipe." And then on Twitter he said, "Star Wars romance." It was just a bunch of screenshots from episode 8, episode 9, episode 7 of Rey and Kylo fighting, especially, and one of them being the one where Rey legit just stabbed him with his, I believe it was with his lightsaber in the Force in the Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, like even John Boyega knows that this shit makes no damn sense. Which there's some other shit that's going on with the Reylo shows, like they've been legit like attacking Adam Driver's wife, because they want legit the Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley to both be like a legit couple, like a real life couple. Thereby the fact both of them have significant others. So yeah, these people are fucking crazy. They even went over Adam Driver's family as well. So yikes, yeah, these people are fucking insane. Like, at least the Ichiruki shippers and the Narusaku shippers, at least all they did was death threats. They didn't go this far with attacking like Horikoshi or the Manga's family. This, as far as I know, all they did was like bitch and complain and death threats. So yeah, like, I'll leave a link to Yellow Flash's video over there in the icons, but if you want to get like a full detail of the shit they did, it's some crazy shit. But anyway, after about 10 minutes of ranting and talking about Reylo, let's actually just discuss the rest of the film right here, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's talk about one of the bigger reveals of the film, which was definitely the thing with Rey being the granddaughter of Palpatine. Now, I know from, I believe it was Geekdom in his review when he watched the movie. It might have been in Jeremy Jones' review also. They mentioned how there was legit shit that retcon, that they did do some shit that would retcon The Last Jedi. Now, I didn't know what I was hoping, I didn't think it was going to be anything really major, especially since, like, I didn't think they were going to bring back, Luke. Like, they weren't going to do anything to like, bring back Luke or bring back, Emperor Snoke or a Supreme Leader Snoke. Nothing really that major. Maybe some more small stuff, like, of course, giving Kylo back his helmet. Rey, Finn, and Rose, like, having nothing to do with each other in the film. Small shit. I didn't think they would actually retcon the whole thing of Rey being a nobody, which is an idea that both me and Hell agree. Like, I like the idea of Rey being her own separate entity and not being connected to the Skywalker Star, like being like the long lost son of Luke or something dumb like that. Because I kind of like that idea of Rey just being a nobody who was just thrown into all this against Kylo. I kind of like that idea. Of what they did there. That was just me. But with them now, apparently now, technically they are still nobodies, but you're really not a nobody if you are the son of Palpatine, and your daughter is the granddaughter of Palpatine. So I actually didn't expect. Now, it was shocking that they did that, and I was definitely surprised. I did not see that coming. But I can understand why Young, in his review, he said that's like, there was massive twists that happened in the film, which was he was obviously alluding to this one, and he just couldn't help but start laughing. I could legit see why, because this is legit ridiculous, because, like, it wasn't, like, kind of shocking, like, how a lot of the stuff in The Last Jedi happened, shocking, but, like, everything that happened with Kylo and Luke, or, the fact that they killed off Snoke. Like, those were unexpected, because I did not see them coming, but this was unexpected, but not as, oh shit, this just got interesting kind of thing. Now, I already mentioned before in my spoiler-free review how Daisy really put out probably the best performance she has definitely had, at least from what I've seen, especially from her in the other Star Wars movies. She brought her air game for this, and she definitely let her heart and soul out of this film. And she was absolutely amazing. She did a great job with the whole stuff with Palpatine. And they did a decent job of it, but I can't help it, and I don't want to throw this out because this word I feel like has been thrown around a little too much in the sequel trilogy, especially with The Last Jedi, but it does come up a little fan fiction-y about Rey being the granddaughter of Palpatine, Like, I'm not gonna say come out forced or, like, or forced or anything like that. I like the idea and I like what they did with the film, but honestly, if I was the one writing it, I wouldn't have done that. I would have brought back Palpatine, because when I thought they brought back Palpatine, I thought, they're just going to bring back Palpatine, he's going to do his shit, and then, Rey and Kyle probably going to work together to defeat him. I didn't think they were going to go this far. But yeah, I like what they did with the movie, with the whole stuff with Rey and Palpatine, but I honestly am not really a fan of it. I like the idea of what they did in The Last Jedi with her just being a nobody. I like that idea. So anyway, after that, so let's talk about another thing. Let's continue on with Rey, because you guys know about one debate that's going on about the Star Wars fandom, especially around the sequel trilogy. Is Rey a Mary Sue? Rey is overpowered, yada yada yada. From jackasses like Geeks and Gamers who keep saying Rey is a Mary Sue, she's overpowered. Those fucking idiots. Like, me personally, who the fuck cares? Like, I'm with Hello Greedo. Who cares whether or not she's a Mary Sue or not? Who cares? I don't give a shit. I personally don't think she's a Mary Sue because, I like Rey. I think she's cool. Is she a Mary Sue? Yeah, you can make the argument for it, but I personally just don't give a shit. I like Rey. I think she's an interesting enough character. One of the better lead females in the Star Wars universe, if you ask me. But then again, when your only other competition is Padme, and she was written by George Lucas, and the prequels, it's not really saying much, but you guys might have mentioned this before. But I gotta mention, people have honestly said that Rey is overpowered, and honestly, I don't think she is, because people make it seem like she's fucking Star Killer, with how they say, Rey's overpowered, when she's really not. When her biggest feat in the Force, at least in the terms of The Last Jedi, was lifting rocks. That's nothing. Like I meant, like half the Star Wars universe would body her just like that. Like, you could put her against any number of the Jedis, from the prequels, the sequel trilogy, or the Clone Wars, the Old Republic, even shit from like characters from Legends. They would all whoop her ass, like Darth Vader, Darth Maul, not Kylo, but like Mace Windu, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Darth Vader. They would all whoop her ass, But here in this movie, I gotta admit, Rey was a little OP in this movie, at least to where nothing like Star Killer levels, although she did do something that was almost Star Killer level, where I'm like, okay, come on now, JJ. Now, I know there's been about a year time skip, and I'm sure someone's gonna be like, oh, but it's explained in this comic, issue 2, page 16, like, yeah, I'm sure, I'm sure God explained some comic. I know there were some comics to fill in the gaps between the two movies, between The Last Jedi and this, but I don't read the comics, at least like that, so yeah, I want this stuff like that to be explained in the movies. But okay, first off, she knows the ability. Now it's been like about a year since the Force Awakens, or the Force, or the Last Jedi, excuse me. So, and Rey, like, knows Force Heal, which I'm pretty sure is like a well-known ability in the Star Wars canon. I'm pretty sure, or at least very, pre-ability. I don't think we've seen that kind of ability in the movies or the Clone Wars even at all. I'm pretty sure that was something that was just pretty much exclusive to the novels and comic books and just the EU in general. But the problem is that she does that. My problem is that she does that. She knows that she knows that ability, or that ability exists. Force healing. But my problem is that Rey knows it and is very proficient with the ability. Because I feel like Force now. I am no expert on Star Wars EU. Not at all. I didn't even really know the Star Wars EU was even a thing till most of the EU became legends. I don't pay attention to the EU like that. I know bits and pieces of it, but I do not pay attention or some expert in the Star Wars EU. I'm not. But an ability like that, I don't see Rey after about a year of training, when she hasn't been trained by any real proficient Force users. Now, yeah, sure, she was trained by Leia, which she has the Skywalker blood running there, but she is no Jedi. She is not proficient in the Force like someone like Luke was. If Luke was still alive and training her, then I can buy her knowing Force heal. But her like this, I just think that's a little kind of, like a little. Okay, come on, that's a little bit much. But then this was just where I was like, okay, this is just some Star Killer bullshit at this point. Well, not really Star Killer, but close enough. Where Chewie was on that fighter. That little ship thing, and Rey stops it dead in the track with the Force, and she's forced, of course, going against it with Kylo. At that point, I'm like, okay, you are stopping this moving vehicle dead in its track with the Force. Okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. It's not like when Star Killer stopped that Star Destroyer, and you moved around the Force Unleashed 1, but it was close enough where I'm like, okay, this is just ridiculous at this point. This is low key a little bit OP that Rey can do both these abilities with the training she's gotten. Like I mentioned before, you could probably bring us some shit in the comics, but when you're trained by Leia, I don't think she would really be this proficient with the Force. That's just me. But I wouldn't but I will agree with them that Rey was a bit overpowered in this movie, at least a little bit. And then she's about to shut off 5 Force Light, which I was hoping we would see this epic battle between Palpatine and Rey, where they just both use Force Lightning, and there's but we never see her use Force Light outside that one scene where the ship blows up and she thinks she killed Chewie. And I was like, oh my god, you killed Chewie, you bitch! That was me in the theater. I was like, you bitch! So, yeah, I wish we saw some stuff with that, and, with Palpatine. But, speaking of which, let's talk about Palpatine. Let us talk about my boy, Darth Sidious. First off, Palpatine was awesome in the movie. Loved every second he was on screen. And I love the fact how he was like Kylo's. Now, I know him coming back is nothing new in the Star Wars canon, especially back in the original EU, which is now considered Legends. Palpatine did come back there, too, through cloning. So, this was nothing new. This was nothing new in the Star Wars canon. And I like the fact that he was hooked up to a machine. He wasn't like he's an experiment, of the cloning thing. And I like how they kind of gave you a little bit more of stuff with Snoke. Finally made kind of showing us a bit more. So now I'm sure they're probably gonna go really in depth with Snoke in comics and novels and such. Because it looks like from the one of the more recent Star Wars comics, the one that I'm actually reading, the Star Wars: The Rise of Kylo Ren, we see stuff with Kylo Ren, or with Snoke, I should say, before Starkiller Base was even a thing. It was still in the building process. We see Starkiller Base. So, so it looks like we're probably going to see some stuff with him there. Looks like we're going to see a lot of the Knights of Ren in that book. I love the first that you guys are big fans of Kylo Ren, or you guys want to see some more of the Knights of Ren, definitely check out that comic. First issue was awesome. My issue reaction to that is already up on the channel if you guys want to check that out, if you guys have already read the issue. So, yeah, I love that. I'm going to love that. No, I'm going to love that comic. And you guys know how much I love Kylo Ren. But anyway, so we saw some stuff there. It looks like, that pretty much that Snoke was a creation of the Emperor himself, which is a lot. I know that was a pretty popular theory that everyone was about to say, oh, Snoke is going to be, was made by the Emperor, or he was a fellow clone of the Emperor. So it looks like that was true, because we also see some other Snokes within, tubes and canisters and shit at the start of the film with Kylo, and Kylo comes to visit there from the Sith holocrons, which I like that we actually saw holocrons in the film, because I don't think we've ever seen those in the films, actually. I know that they're pretty big in the EU, but I don't think we've actually seen any holocrons in the films. We might have seen them probably in the Clone Wars, but I never really watched the Clone Wars, so anyway. So yeah, man. We got that. So yeah, man. We got. So the Emperor was great. First of all, I love his new design. I love the new robes he was wearing, black and red. And I love the look of the Final Order. You know, I already mentioned before in like my reactions to the trailers, my trailer thoughts when the first trailer dropped, the Star Wars Celebration, when that teaser, that leaked poster came out, and a bunch of other times. I love the design of the Sith Troopers, but when we actually see the design of the Final Order, when the Star comes in, like their mixture of black, like that, like little like X or triangle shape that has like or Y shape that has like some red in it. It looks amazing, man. I love the look of it. I love the whole like look of the final battle between Rey, and I mentioned this in my review. I love the whole final act of the film with Rey versus the Emperor was very Return of the Jedi-esque, and I love the final act of Return of the Jedi. There's one third act in the whole saga that's one of my favorites, if not my personal favorite. I would say probably Revenge. My favorites were Revenge. My top three would be The Last Jedi, obviously, because the stuff with Kylo and Luke was fucking epic, man. That shot fight had the best setup ever, with with Luke coming in there, with his gesture looking a lot younger. I was like, when I saw the movie first time, and I saw him looking a lot younger, I'm like, why does he look so young? But I just didn't care, because it was so hype that I thought he just put on some Just for Men, some Star Wars Just for Men before he left, and and the fact that his old lightsaber was blue. I wish we saw the green lightsaber at least once in the sequel trilogy, besides the flashbacks. I wish we saw that, like him actually rock it in the movies, like him actually turn it on, so not instead of the flashbacks. But I didn't care. I was like, oh, who cares? Because it was so hype, man. And then Kyle, he's like, starts like having those ATSTs, just go after Luke. He's just like more, more, and it was just so hype, man, just so hype. So you have that. What else? Yeah, like I just love the Emperor. So yeah, I love what they did with the Emperor, man. Cool stuff. Especially with the final act I mentioned before, how I loved it. It was very Return of the Jedi. Yes, I love that. I love that nice little callback to the Return of the Jedi, which I did before that. So yeah, Last Jedi. Number 2 would probably be Revenge of the Sith, because that last fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan was so hype, man. And then third would definitely be the Return of Jedi. Love that final act, man. One especially that one shot with Luke where you see like red mixed with blue. It's like this kind of like duality, kind of choosing between which side of the Force. That whole fight was epic, especially when Darth Vader says, sister, you have a twin sister. She will turn to the dark side. That he was like, never. And I love Return of the Jedi, man. I love the third act of Return of the Jedi. So awesome. So anyway, so yeah. Let's speak of fun. Let's talk about Leia's introduction to the film, because I got on some stuff about Leia. Okay, now I mentioned this before in my review that how Leia was introduced shown off in the film was great. I love how she was brought in there. It doesn't look like she never once really looked out of place. With them splicing footage from other films. But I mentioned in my review that there's no way in hell they've never recreated her with CGI, and they only use footage from The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. I didn't buy that they did use that 100%. I think most of the time they did, but for 2 scenes in particular, which we're going to talk about now, they recreated with CGI. You can't tell me otherwise. Unless J.J. Abrams could legit show me the deleted scenes from either from either Last Jedi or The Force Awakens. I think that they recreated her with CGI for these 2 moments, and these 2 moments were her death as well as the flashback with her and Luke. Which we're going to talk about Leia, her lightsaber, and all that other stuff with Rey and all that other stuff in a bit. But I first off, with that whole scene with the death, I'm like, that was like the first time I know it's like bullshit. You only use you never recreate CGI, just bullshit. Because where in the hell in The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi were you going to fit that scene in either film? Did they just film it there just in case she died, so they would already have it on standby? Like I mentioned before in my review, did J.J. Abrams or the Rian Johnson have like a Force premonition that said Carrie Fisher is going to die in a year or 2 years, so film her death now? Like, did they have a Force premonition? Did they have a Force vision or something? Like, there's no way that was already filmed. There's no way that they didn't recreate with CGI for that scene. But her death was awesome. I love the fact that right before she dies, she calls out to Ben. She says, Ben. And then she dies. I love the fact that we finally got an interaction between Rey and Kylo. I was hoping, because that's like the one thing I was always hoping for. We already got it with Solo. We already got the interaction between Han and Kylo. We already got the interaction between Luke and Kylo, but we never actually got anything with Leia. And I mentioned this before, like right after Carrie died, back in the early days of my channel. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave it up in the iCards above. I did a whole separate video on how Star Wars should move forward after Carrie's death. And I said in there, now I went full on, fan servicey with this. I went full on Star Wars nerd mode on that, where I said, oh yeah, Leia's going to have her lightsaber she had in the EU, she's going to call it using the Force, and then you're going to see her old ass go against Kylo, with a lightsaber too. Obviously she's not going to be like Yoda doing flips and shit. But, we were going to see this lightsaber fight. That's what I thought was going to happen. That I was like, oh yeah, that would be cool to see. Well, looks like I got about 2 out of the 3 things I wanted. That we got to see her lightsaber, and we saw her training a bit, but we also saw her interact with Kylo for once, which was nice to see. So that whole stuff with her and Kylo was first. I gotta say, I love the lightsaber fights in the movie, especially the one where they're on Endor, which I'm surprised we never really saw any Ewoks on Endor while they were on Endor. I don't think we even saw. I think we might saw them in the end credits, but I'm not sure. I don't think we saw a single Ewok while we were on Endor. I might be wrong on that, because I haven't gone back and rewatched the movie since I saw it in theaters a couple weeks back. But yeah, I love that lightsaber fight, with especially when Kyle comes out of the water like an absolute boss, Adam Driver, Kyle just don't give a fuck about the water. He's hair, he's all wet, but he don't give a fuck. I love Kylo, man, and all the flips. But I also love the shot where when Rey finds out against her Sith self, her evil self, and you get the shot where I believe her evil Rey's foldable lightsaber was folded in, and you see her and Rey kind of clash their lightsabers. You see them close together, and her dual blade and their lightsabers kind of work as a barrier or halving or as a divider between them two, is showing off the duality of Rey, her good side, evil side. I love that shot, man. That was probably my favorite shot in the whole movie. Was that shot when their lightsabers clashed. That was probably my favorite shot in the entire film. But anyway, we got there. Yeah. So after the whole stuff with the Rey, of course, Leia died right after that, which she called out to Ben. But the second scene was when we actually saw, around the end of the movie, we find out that Leia did indeed have some lightsaber training, and she did I don't think she ever really went all out with it and became a Jedi, but she definitely took some training from Luke in becoming a Jedi, which was nice because I was wondering if they were going to actually go that route, because that was something that happened in the EU back in Legends material, and I didn't know they were actually going to go with that in the films, the sequel trilogy. I'm glad they did. A little disappointed because I looked it up. I looked it up right after I came back from the movie. If her lightsaber, the one she had here, was the same one she had in the film. It wasn't, because first off, the hill's different, and also the coloring. I love her design in the films. The lightsaber she has in the movies, it looked amazing. But her lightsaber there was blue instead of yellow, like it was in the EU. Like it was in The Force Awakens. I believe that was in the DLCs. You guys played that. Her lightsaber there was yellow. So, yeah, that was a little disappointing with that there wasn't the exact same lightsaber, but hey, the fact that indeed Leia did do some lightsaber training was nice to see. Yeah, the de-aging CGI once again is fucking incredible, man. My God, it's scary how well they can de-age these characters, make it look like this just takes place right after Return of the Jedi. But anyway, so let's end this off with probably Rey's lightsaber, which, first off, I like the fact that Rey finally got her own lightsaber in the movie, and they actually did something different with it, where they pretty much just took her staff that she had, because there's been rumors swirling around that, that she was going to get a double-bladed lightsaber, probably since Episode 8, when Episode 7 came out. Everyone's thinking, she's going to get a dual-bladed lightsaber, and just after Luke's lightsaber Anakin's lightsaber got, broken happy or anything, she's going to turn it into a dual-bladed lightsaber, or something along those lines, we thought that was going to be the case. Well, actually, looks like she just turned her staff and took the top parts of it, which, low-key, did anyone else think they looked like they would be perfect for parts of a lightsaber? Did anyone else think that when they saw her staff, the top parts of it, the top and the bottom parts of it? Because that's what I always thought of it. But she took those and pretty much just, put those together and just built a lightsaber around it. Now, the interesting about Rey's lightsaber is that the fact that it's yellow, which I'm about to get full-on nerdy with you guys right here, so be prepared. I'm about to secure my virginity for life, ladies and gentlemen. This is about to make sure that I die a virgin. But in the EU, the original EU for Star Wars canon, back in the Legend material, Kyber crystals were just different crystals with different lights. They had different colors, and you just picked whichever one. Like you want purple lights, pick a purple kyber crystal. You want a red one, pick one. Pick one. Pick a red light kyber crystal, which were synthetic crystals made by the Sith exclusively. Back in the EU, you want blue, take blue. You want yellow, you get yellow. Yada. You guys get the point. But when Disney took over the Star Wars license, and they pretty much made almost everything Legends material, and only kept select things that's still canon, they included how kyber crystals work, which I think that the way that how the kyber crystals work now is way cooler than they did before, because now kyber crystals are legit living things. They're actual things, because blue lights. So allow me to go through the different colors of what each one represents. So blue lightsabers, that's pretty just the basic kyber crystal. Most Jedi's, they get blue. That's how they are with but they just how they're with their connection to the Force and everything. A green one usually means, if I remember correctly, they're pretty much people that are more I guess connected to the Force, more proficient with the Force, guys that are very connected to the Force and know like the back of their hand, i.e. guys like Yoda, Qui-Gon Jinn, Luke in the Return of the Jedi, etc., etc., etc. Purple, we don't know what official name is, because I think only Mace Windu is the only guy that's actually, at least in the main canon, has had a purple lightsaber. But people theorize that purple usually represents someone that's probably that's good at both using both the light and the dark side of the Force. Because I'm pretty sure that's what Mace Windu is. He's a guy that doesn't mind going into the Sith cookie jar a couple times, using the dark side of the Force. I don't think he's ever full on used Force choke or Force lightning before, but he goes in that direction a couple times, if I remember correctly. Then we also have white and red kyber crystals. This is one shit gets interesting. Red kyber crystals work as they are pretty much kyber crystals that have been corrupted. They take, which we saw this before in Darth Vader's first comic, back in 2014, I think it was, when Disney took over Star Wars. They took the red kyber crystals, were pretty much kyber crystals that have been corrupted, and the red comes from the fact that they're bleeding. It's a bleeding effect that that they get corrupted by the dark side of the Force, and that's how they get the red color, because it's a bleeding effect. They're legit hurt. They're bleeding. That's what gives it a distinct red color. And white kyber crystals are red kyber crystals that have been purified from the Sith. That's why, like Ahsoka Tano in Rebels, she had double white lightsabers, which, like I mentioned before, are red lightsabers that have been purified have been purified. Now, one color that we have seen in main Star Wars canon that we also don't know an official reasoning for how that kyber crystal gets its color is yellow. Now, from Star Wars canon, the only guys we have seen in Star Wars canon, at least that I know of, are the Jedi Knights or the Jedi Guards. The guys that guard the Jedi temples in the Clone Wars. You guys that they were all rocking double-bladed lightsabers, and Dave Filoni actually wanted to give Ahsoka that color as well for her second lightsaber in the last season, or one of the last seasons of the Clone Wars before it got canceled. He wanted to give her that color too, but George Lucas told no, because he wanted to keep that exclusive for those Jedi Protectors, Jedi Knights, or whatever the hell they're called. I forget their exact names. He wanted to keep it exclusive to them. So that's why they are the only ones that had yellow kyber crystals, and the one Ahsoka had was like a lightish greenish that looked very yellowish in the last seasons of Attack of the Clones, or the Clone Wars. Now, the fact that Rey also has that color is very interesting, because we don't know what that means. Now, judging from the fact that she did, judging from the fact what those guys were and what we see from Rey, it looks like there might be guys that yellow kyber crystals might work as people that are very knowledgeable about the Jedi Order and just very much prepared. Because remember, she took the Jedi text from Luke's place and has been reading them throughout the movie, and I'm pretty sure she, and I'm pretty sure she probably still has them on her at the end of Rise of Skywalker. I think so. I think she still has them, if I remember correctly. So yellow kyber crystals could just mean that she's she's very knowledgeable of the Force, and that's how she has that distinct yellow color. Either way, it looks cool. And I like it kind of has this switch on it in the back, which looks like it can go from a single to a double blade lightsaber, which it was cool. I love the look of that. And I already mentioned before how I love the look of Leia's lightsaber. So, yeah. That's about all I gotta say, guys, for the Rise of Skywalker. I know there's a lot of that info top. I didn't even mention the whole stuff in the second act with Poe and everything, because there's really nothing really to discuss there. But yeah, man, I love this movie, as I mentioned in my review. Lots to discuss. So tell me down below, guys, what you guys thought of Star of Rise Skywalker. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think? What were your spoiler-filled thoughts? Maybe did you like what they did with Rey connecting her with Palpatine, or did you hate it? What did you think of Leia's introduction, usage in the film? What did you think of? What do you think Rey's why Rey has a yellow kyber crystal and her lightsaber? Tell me all that down below, guys. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe for new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, flag links on the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.